Hey guys, Ray from LoveYouRV. I just thought I'd update you on the Bluedriver OBD2 reader that I installed just before we left on our trip. So we're getting close to 2.5 months now and roughly 4,000 miles. And I've been using it for what I wanted it for, was to monitor my exhaust gas temperatures, specifically when I'm turning the truck off after a hard tow. The owner's manual said to let it run a few minutes, just to let the turbo cool down before you shut it off. So I thought it'd be a good idea to have one of these readers. They just plug into the onboard diagnostic port, and then I can get a set of gauges here, and it'll show me the different temperature sensors. This one I think is pre-turbo, number 1. Number 2 is post-turbo, and I think this one, number 3, is after the DPF, or diesel particulate filter. I think it goes through regeneration every once in a while. And I actually did see it do it once. We pulled into a Walmart and I was towing, and I was just letting everything cool down, and all of a sudden that one was quite high, so it must have been going through a regen process. Anyway, I've seen the highest temps I've seen are up around 950 when I'm towing, and that was pulling a pretty good grade. And right near the top, haven't seen it go over 1,000, which is good, I guess. I'm not sure what the max is, but I hear like around 1,200 is really pushing it. Anyway, usually when we're just towing along the highway, it'll be somewhere between 700, 800, maybe 850. Probably depending how much wind I'm pushing. Also, it has a scan tool in it, and a recent scan, I read some of the codes. Here we go. In my saved reports, you can see I had tire pressure sensor 3 internal. That's the only code I've had it trigger, and that I know what is up with that is I caught a screw in one of my tires, so I decided to throw the spare on, and the wheel of the spare does not have the sensor. So when I was going along, you can see it's missing a sensor there. That's until I get that tire changed. I'm at the point where I'm going to change all 4 anyway, but it was interesting that picked up that code, so it's good for that. I'm glad I don't see any other codes right now. Back to live reports there. So this has maintained good connectivity. I know a few people in the comments said they had sometimes problems with it works through Bluetooth, and sometimes it can be flaky or it's not updating very fast, but it seems to work pretty good in my rig. Usually what I'll do is I'll put down, I have a tablet or an iPad, and I'll just lay it down there, because I really don't have to be looking at it all the time. I only want to really look at it when I'm pulling heavy load, steep grade, or like I say, when I'm going to shut it down. And usually what I'll do is I'll wait until this temperature gets down into the low 400s, and then I'll shut it down. I think that's a pretty safe bet. Usually I'll pull off the interstate and say I'm going to a campground. A lot of times by the time I arrive at the campground, it's good. But if I just pull off into a rest stop, I can be pushing around 800 degrees or so. So I let it all drift down to around 400 just to be safe, let the turbo cool down. And like I said in the previous video, I'll link to that. This is just sort of an update that it's been working fine and doing what I wanted it to do. But there's all sorts of other sensors you can set to show up on your live data report. So overall, I'm happy with it. I know some other people recommended different ones, so you can go back to my original video, look in the comments, and you'll see all sorts of different plug-in models. The Bluedriver is sort of one of the premium ones, so it's a little bit more money than some of the other solutions. Anyway, till next time, Ray from LoveYouRV.com. Happy trails, folks. Cheers, everyone.